Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. So maybe if you can't tell, we're going to make a dish that I make a lot in the colder months, especially in the winter time. It's really good as a transition into the colder days. It's also really comforting on our digestive system. And I find that it's really easy to make multiple servings of. So when you're sick, you can adjust it to your taste, your preference, but you still get a lot of nutrients. You get fiber and protein in with this dish. So it's called Kitchari. It is a very popular Indian dish, and we're gonna go ahead and start. So I had to do a little bit of prep, and hopefully you can see everything okay. But I am using, it's called moong dal, and these are basically a green legume. And I did just want to show you that there's a split version of it that's more yellow, and a good substitute for this, if you don't have the moong dal or the moong bean, is just a lentil. And you could use any kind of lentil for this dish. So I had the mung beans soaking. You can soak these for at least 15 minutes. I've had them soaking all morning, and you can soak them for up to 24 hours. After that, you're on your own. I'm not sure how good they'll be. So I'm just going to empty the water out of the mung beans. And that just helps get any kind of debris, but also starts to break down the beans a little bit so that they cook evenly and just have a better texture. And it's also a shorter cooking time if you can soak them. And then the rice I washed. This is basmati rice, and I washed it maybe like 3 or 4 times, just really simply putting water in and then dumping out. So just trying to remove some of the starch so that it doesn't get all globby in the dish. So I'm just going to drain that last round. And the rice has also been soaking for about 30 minutes. Okay, so I've got my pan going, and I'm going to start with a spoonful of ghee. I'm using ghee, clarified butter. You can use any oil that you prefer and that you have. I like the flavor of ghee, and it's also good for high temperature cooking. So I've got that in there. This recipe is super customizable. So I'll add a few extra things that I have on hand today. And you can choose what spices, what vegetables you prefer. And like I said before, depending on if you are making this and you have a cold or someone in your family has a cold, you might go lighter on the spices and the seasoning, just so it's a little more bland, like you probably do with your chicken noodle soup. But I am feeling healthy today, so I'm looking forward to having some spices. So I'm going to start. The ghee is totally melted in the pan. I'm going to start with some cumin seeds. You could also use cumin powder. And I want that cumin to roast just a little bit in the pot. And I see the question, is ghee heart healthy? It kind of depends. I would say, like, you need to use it in moderation. A different oil, like maybe avocado oil, might be better, or olive oil is a really good one. I like to use ghee in moderation for flavor and high heat cooking. I'm also going to add some mustard seeds. into the hot ghee and let those toast. And I'm going to add my turmeric. Turmeric is really good for anti-inflammatory. All right. So I've got my spices in there. Gonna mix those around a little bit. And I'm just monitoring my heat level here as I go too. I don't want anything to get burnt. And then I'm gonna add my the vegetables that I'm going to use. So I've got about half of an onion. And I have some produce from my garden that I need to use up before it spoils. So I'm going to add those in there. Yes, black pepper to activate the turmeric is key. I'm gonna add salt, pepper soon. Not quite yet. So I'm gonna add my onion to the pan. And as you can see, I'm kind of layering what I'm putting in to the pan because I want everything to get seasoned and get cooked a little bit down, like the onion. I'm chopping up a carrot. I'm using a whole carrot because I like the flavor. You could also use sweet potato. Zucchini is really good in this dish. And then mix those into the ghee and the spices, get them coated. This dish is also, you could make it very seasonal. So depending on what season we're in, we could use whatever vegetables you have available. Okay, I'm gonna, I've got these tomatoes from the garden that I need to use. So I'm gonna add those in so that they caramelize a little bit while everything's nice and hot. I'm sauteing. And I'm just kind of dicing everything. The tomatoes are gonna break down, but the carrots will kind of have a nice crunch to the dish because this dish is a little bit of like an oatmeal consistency, which is definitely comforting and easy to digest, but adding a little bit of something that might have a texture to it is nice. All right, let me give that a mix. Let that break down. And then I have fresh ginger today, and I also have powdered ginger. I'm going to use both because I really like ginger. Ginger is very good for your digestion as well. So I don't mind adding that in there. And I'm kind of finely chopping the ginger. I also have one of these, I forget what they're called, but grating. I could grate the ginger. That would work too, especially if you don't want like a chunk of ginger. I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic as well. So finally, minced garlic and ginger go in. And I'm just mixing everything as it goes in to coat things evenly in the seasoning. It's smelling really good. And I am adjusting the heat again, just so the bottom, like the garlic doesn't burn quickly. I'm going to add in that ginger powder here. As you can see, I'm estimating. And I like a little spice. So if you don't, I understand, but I've got a dried chili that I'm just going to drop that in because this will be simmering for about 30 minutes once everything's all in here. And that chili pepper will break down and give a nice hint of spice. All right, so the onions are pretty much translucent, and the tomatoes have already started to break down. So I'm going to add my mung beans. And again, I'm adding them and I'm going to stir this to coat the beans as well. So everything is coated in that seasoning. I'm turning up the heat a little bit. I'm going to drop my rice in. So this is a 1-pot dish. And it's kind of like, you know, you get it going and then you can set it and forget it. This is a dish that I will eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't mind eating savory things for breakfast. And so, especially if I'm having any like stomach issues or I'm just not feeling great, I will eat this for whatever meal. Okay, I'm stirring one last time everything together. And now I'm going to season with salt and pepper. I have a little pig that I hold my salt in. And the pepper to season and help activate the curcumin in the turmeric. All right. And now I have my 4 cups of water. I'm just using normal water. You could also use broth if you've got chicken broth or veggie broth. I tend to just use seasonings to create the flavor because I forget to have broth on hand. So everything's in the pot together, just making sure nothing is stuck to the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to bring that up to a boil and then cover it, turn down the heat, let it simmer. So that's really it. Once it's done in 30 minutes, I'm going to add some cilantro on top just for a little freshness. And if you have parsley, that's a good choice too. And I have a lemon that I might squeeze on top. Again, just for a little bit of brightness to the dish. So super customizable. You can add or remove whatever you like from this recipe. Um, Give it a try. And I hope that nobody gets sick, but you've got this now, just in case to give you some comfort and be nice and easy on your digestion. So thanks for joining today. I'll see you later.